Is the CIA hiding evidence of the end of the world? Hold on to your seats as we expose the CIA's shocking cover-up of evidence that predicts the world's future. The stakes are high, and the world as we know it is at risk. But what exactly is the CIA hiding? And why have they gone to such great lengths to keep it under wraps? We introduce you to a mind-blowing revelation that will change the course of human history forever. So make sure you watch till the end. In 1966, renowned scientist Dr. Chan Thomas penned a manuscript that could alter the fate of humanity. However, the CIA classified the document, and it remained hidden from the public eye for over 6 decades. Only recently has the CIA declassified the manuscript. Even with that, they released only 57 pages of the original 284-page document, claiming that the rest of the manuscript could be very dangerous for public consumption. So, what exactly is in the manuscript's content that is so perilous? Dr. Thomas's work predicts a cataclysmic event that predicts the world's end as we know it. The cause of this disaster is a shift in the Earth's poles, which occurs cyclically, wiping out almost all human life at regular intervals. Thomas presents compelling evidence to support this theory, arguing that we are the 6th advanced civilization to evolve on Earth. But as we delve deeper into the past, it becomes increasingly difficult to determine the number of cultures that inhabited our planet. Thomas is not alone in his predictions, as other scientists have also published similar theories. For example, in 1958, Charles Hapgood published The Earth's Shifting Crust, which discussed the Earth's crustal displacement hypothesis. Initially dismissed as pseudoscience, Hapgood's theory gained support from Albert Einstein, who wrote forewords for 2 of his books. Charles Hapgood was determined to unlock the secrets of our planet, and now we know he was right. The continents once believed to be stationary drift apart and collide together over and over again, shaping the world as we know it. For example, Pangaea was the supercontinent that broke apart to form today's land masses. But before Pangaea, there was Gondwana, and before Gondwana, there was Pannotia. The list goes on and on. Hapgood released a groundbreaking book called The Path of the Pole. In it, he suggested that the Earth's poles are constantly moving. And he was right. But his most controversial theory was that a pole shift occurred around 9600 BC, which would have dramatically altered the landscape of Antarctica. The Piri Reis map, an ancient map that baffled scientists for centuries, shows Antarctica long before it was officially discovered. According to Hapgood, an advanced civilization mapped the continent thousands of years ago before it was covered in ice. This theory is still debated today, but Hapgood's impact on our understanding of the Earth's history is not denied. But there is another theory put forth by Dr. Chan Thomas in his book, The Adam and Eve Story. He suggests that the shift in the Earth's poles happens in less than a day.
The wind attacks, shredding everything in supersonic bombardment. The mountain of Pacific seawater follows the wind eastward, burying Los Angeles and San Francisco as if they were but grains of sand.
This controversial theory challenges everything we know about the Earth's history and raises more questions than answers. In a world plagued by chaos and destruction, Chan Thomas boldly foretells an impending catastrophe that will shake the very foundations of our existence. With chilling detail, he paints a picture of a disaster that eclipses even the most terrifying Hollywood productions.
Across the continent, the 1,000-mile-per-hour wind wreaks unholy vengeance everywhere, mercilessly.
As we dive into Thomas's book, we are plunged into devastation and terror. In the book, Thomas describes a massive earthquake, unlike anything in recorded history, triggering a catastrophic tidal wave and supersonic winds that ravage California and other parts of the continent. He mentions that earthquakes are accompanied by very violent winds never seen before in this generation. But what causes such violent winds, you may ask? The answer lies in the Earth's spin, which, at approximately 1,000 miles per hour, creates a delicate balance between the land, water, and atmosphere. Yet when the pole shift occurs, the land masses suddenly halt while the air and water spin, leading to a cataclysmic chain of events. Imagine being in a car traveling at 1,000 miles per hour, only to stop suddenly. The impact would be catastrophic, which is precisely what happens to cities, skyscrapers, and millions of unfortunate souls caught in the path of destruction. The lucky survivors must now face the aftermath, a 2-mile-high wall of water, mud, and debris hurtling toward them at the speed of sound. The chaos does not end there. The pole shift causes the Earth's temperature to drop by 180 degrees, leaving even the warmest parts of the planet a frozen wasteland.
South America finds the Andes not high enough to stop the violence. In less than a day, the entire continent is burned by molten earth fire, buried under miles of violent seas, then turned into a frozen hell. Everything freezes: man, beast, plant, and mud in less than 4 hours.
Thomas predicts a 90-degree shift of the Earth's axis, turning the globe on its side and causing the poles to move to the equator and vice versa.
The Bay of Bengal Basin just east of India is now at the North Pole. The Pacific Ocean just west of Peru is at the South Pole. Greenland and Antarctica, now rotating equatorially, emerge with verdant tropical foliage.
The Adam and Eve video.
Oh yeah, the Chan Thomas thing.
Jesus Christ.
That's an interesting one. And
Is that how much of that is agreed upon?
Dr. Thomas's book may seem like a work of fiction, but he provides irrefutable evidence that this cataclysmic event has occurred before and will happen again. Flood myths from every culture around the world serve as a testament to the Earth's tumultuous past. The world has always been awash with tales of great floods, each culture with its own deluge myth. Abrahamic religions speak of Noah's flood. Flood myths abound in Europe, Asia, Pacific Islanders, and native tribes of America, each one a testament to a cleansing deluge that swept away old civilizations and made way for new beginnings. Now, are all these tremendous historic floods just a coincidence, or the actual historical representation of what happened? Well, the truth is that great floods have been a recurring phenomenon in human history. For example, the end of the last ice age saw massive floods, often referred to as the Younger Dryas, and core samples confirm this. In the 1960s, the world was ignorant of the great floods that had shaped our planet's history. However, recent archaeological discoveries have unearthed evidence of the Gunyu flood myth, confirming that a devastating deluge occurred thousands of years ago. But what is more intriguing than the floods is the possibility of advanced civilizations existing before each disaster. Mainstream archaeology has long believed that the first civilization emerged in Mesopotamia 6,500 years ago. But what if that was just the last reboot? What if there were others before that? The erosion patterns around the Great Sphinx suggest that it was created before the last flood, which puts it over 10,000 years ago, before the emergence of the Egyptian civilization. This idea is not welcomed by archaeologists, who believe their version of history is correct. But there's more evidence of a cataclysmic pole shift, which resulted in a great mud flood and the sinking of a continent, also known as Atlantis. So let's look at Plato's dialogue in his book, Plato's Atlantis Story. Plato's concept of Atlantis was a utopian society destroyed in a cataclysm. Although Atlantis is considered a mythical land until definitive proof is found, some geological features are compelling. For example, the Reshat structure, also called the Eye of the Sahara in northwest Africa, is about the right size and shape for Atlantis. But the debate continues among Atlantis believers, whether it's an artificial or natural structure. However, what is undeniable is the evidence of large ripples in the landscape all over the planet caused by water. These ripples, which are about 50 feet high, the size of a 5-story building, are a testament to the power of the floods that once ravaged our planet.
There's so many things, like where the water flows to the south, where there's clear evidence of water erosion that took place after the volcano. There's so much that points to that possibly being Atlantis.
Amidst the ruins of a lost world lies a secret that could shatter our perception of history. Atlantis, synonymous with mystery and intrigue, is not the only lost continent to have suffered a catastrophic fate. On the opposite side of the world lies the enigmatic land of Mu, a vast and advanced civilization that spanned the Pacific from Hawaii to Japan. The story of Mu is a tale of epic proportions, filled with ancient texts and legends translated by scholars such as Augustus Le Plongeon and James Churchward. But amidst the myths and legends lies a startling truth. Mu was destroyed in a cataclysm over 11,500 years ago. The evidence is scattered across the Pacific, from the underwater ruins of Yonaguni Monument off the coast of Japan to the massive stone structures of Nan Madol in Micronesia. The ruins of Nan Madol, built with volcanic rock logs, bear witness to a technologically advanced society beyond its time. For example, LiDAR imaging has revealed that the island was once home to a sophisticated irrigation system that provided fresh water to the residents. But perhaps the most intriguing evidence lies on Easter Island, the easternmost part of Mu. The Moai statues, famous for their massive heads, were once believed to be just that. However, recent discoveries have revealed that these statues have entire bodies buried deep underground. So how did they get there? Were they buried by something or someone? And what of the people who once lived on Easter Island? Could they have come from Mu, walking across a landmass that the ocean has since swallowed? The evidence for Mu's existence is compelling, but it is not without controversy. Some argue that the similarities between Polynesian and ancient Greek, Egyptian, and Indian cultures suggest a common origin, while others dismiss such claims as mere coincidence. But amidst the debate lies a more profound question. Could Mu's cataclysmic fate be a warning of what is to come? Dr. Chan Thomas lays out a chilling theory of a cyclical cataclysm that could wipe out humanity. His research suggests that a seismic event could cause the layer beneath the Earth's crust to turn from solid to liquid, causing the land masses to slide freely and throwing the Earth off its axis. The Adam and Eve story may seem simple, but there's much more to it. So should you panic? Well, let's start by clearing up some misconceptions. Some claim that Dr. Chan Thomas, the author of this explosive book, is a made-up name, but this is far from the truth. Dr. Thomas was a real person, born in Missouri in 1920 and passed away in 1998. He was a family man, an electrical engineer who even worked for McDonnell Douglas, and he appeared as a UFO expert in a documentary. He had many talents and interests, writing books on ESP, UFOs, and even natural childbirth. But despite his accomplishments, he was also known to be highly eccentric. Some may argue that the CIA's release of only 57 pages of the original 284-page book indicates that some pages are missing. However, the original book was only 57 pages, and the missing pages were simply blank, and the original book proves this. So if the CIA document was the entire document, why was the book classified? That's a mystery. The classified documents included the book, an inner office memo, and a snipped article from People magazine. And while the book may have been controversial, it was never banned, like some people suggest, because there were copies in circulation. However, the book's content raises some questions. Dr. Thomas deducts from old texts, borrowing ideas from other catastrophists, like Hapgood and Immanuel Velikovsky, without providing solid evidence for his claims. For instance, his theory that the Earth's magnetism and electricity become disrupted when the ice caps knock the planet off its axis is a stretch because even the originator of the idea, Hapgood, after working with scientists, including Albert Einstein, issued a follow-up book that explains how he got that wrong. But Dr. Thomas sticks with the story, without providing any evidence or even an explanation of how it happens, not even in his revised version of the book in 1993. But despite the lack of concrete evidence, some support some of Dr. Thomas's claims. And while his expanded version of the book in 1993 may not read as scientific, it's still worth exploring for its ideas on ESP, UFOs, and angels. So was Dr. Chan Thomas a serious researcher? That's for you to decide. But one thing is sure, his book has sparked controversy and curiosity. Some claims in his book have sent shockwaves through the scientific community, and with evidence mounting, it's hard to deny that some of them may be possible. Picture this. Glaciers melting at an unprecedented rate, causing floods so devastating they make the tsunamis we know today look like a gentle ripple. The sea level rises hundreds of feet, swallowing entire cities whole. It's not just a doomsday scenario. It's happened before. But that's not even the most chilling part. Dr. Thomas Chan talks about a sudden drop in temperature so drastic that everything in its path is frozen solid, with woolly mammoths discovered with buttercups still in their mouths. It sounds like something out of a horror movie, but it's true. Mammoths have been found frozen in the middle of eating. Imagine what conditions would be required to flash freeze a creature of that size. It's almost too terrifying to contemplate. Yet, as the evidence continues to pile up, it's hard to deny that there may be truth to some of Dr. Thomas Chan's claims. According to Thomas, the Earth's axis is shifting because of seismic activity, and NASA's findings support this theory. For example, the North Pole moved 25 centimeters east due to the massive Indonesian earthquake in 2004, and the Earth's rotation sped up, shortening the length of a day by 2.7 microseconds. In 2010, the same thing happened during the Chilean earthquake, and Japan experienced it the following year. Are these shifts a cause for concern, you ask? Well, not really. The Earth's rotation speeds up a little with each earthquake, but the moon balances it out, so the shifts aren't anything to worry about. However, there is a significant concern that we should all be aware of: the shifting magnetic poles.
So what's the science behind this complete reversal of the magnetic poles?
You know, two things right now is that the pole is moving. So it's off. I think it's off even the South Pole might be off of Antarctica at this point, like the magnetic south. And then the magnetic field consequently to this movement is weakening. So we know our magnetic field, and that's where a lot of that danger is going to come from, is if the magnetic field keeps weakening.
The Earth's poles flip-flop. Geologically speaking, it happens a lot. The poles are constantly moving, and the North Pole was drifting about 9 miles per year in the early 1990s. However, this speed has steadily increased, and it's currently drifting at almost 40 miles per year. In addition, GPS is now being updated every 6 months due to this speed, from it being previously updated every 5 years. These are all signs that a shift could be on the horizon. The real danger lies in the time leading up to a pole shift. The Earth's magnetic field gets tangled up and significantly weakened, leaving us vulnerable to solar activity. Solar winds, storms, and coronal mass ejections could cause significant damage without our magnetic field protecting us. Satellites will get fried, and rates of cancer will increase dramatically. The most significant danger, however, is posed to our power grids. High levels of solar activity could knock out all electricity on Earth for days or weeks, maybe even months in some places. Civil unrest is a massive understatement. Dr. Chan Thomas's book, The Adam and Eve Story, was dismissed as pseudoscience when it was first published. However, many of his claims have been proven true in the 50 or so years since its publication. In some cases, the difference between pseudoscience and natural science is time. If just a fraction of Dr. Thomas's predictions come true, our time is running out.